Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I kind of changed the background, so still dealing with this chair, but I just like kind of like the white might look better. And then a lot of people are telling me that like I need to stop using black as much, which I know, but like it's just easier to just put it up and use it when I want to. Anyway, today we're going to talk about my worst relationship. That kind of beat out marching band, and I don't really want to talk about marching band right now anyway, but I will do a video about that soon. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, it was my last relationship. It basically wasn't really long. It was kind of like, I feel like it was like a waste of time for me. It was 2 months, but it felt like, I don't know, it felt like 2 weeks. Like, it was really weird. I just think the whole problem was communication. Like, there was no communication. Everything that was like a problem, he just went to he went to like all the people that he thought were my friends, or he went to his friends. He just went to all these different people, and he wouldn't talk to me himself about the problems that we were having. It was like he didn't like confrontation or anything. It's just like you can't be in a relationship with someone if you aren't going to communicate with them. Like, it's all about communication. So, oh my god, this is moving so much. So I just didn't want to deal with that, and it was just he was so pushy, and I'm not gonna say like everything was on him, because like there's times like, yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm that type of person that will just stop talking for a minute. Like, I don't have the need to talk. It's just there's nothing wrong with me. Like, I just don't want to talk or anything, and like I'm not that type of person. I'm not very like, I don't know, like I'm not very like touchy-feely. I'm not like a touchy-feely type person. Like, there's times I'm just like, can I be by myself or something? And it's not like we were like really close or anything. We weren't friends or anything before. Like, the connection, like, it was there, but it wasn't like there. Like, it wasn't like we were best friends before and then we ended up dating. It wasn't like we like knew each other or something. It was just the connection wasn't good. And like, I don't like that. Like, they're just so pushy. Like, I'm a busy person, so if I see you like during school all the time, and then I have to see you after school like all the time for like at least an hour or two, there's gonna be a time where it's just like, okay, I just want to be by myself, and like that's how I am. And he would get mad about that, and it's like I compromised for him, but he wouldn't compromise for me, and he thought he was compromising, but he really wasn't. He was just like doing stuff for himself. And then there would be times like, what I like, Sundays are like just for me. Like, I don't want to do anything on Sundays. That's like homework days, washing, all that type of stuff. And it was like, can I come over on Sundays? And it's just like, no, not really. But I would compromise and be like, yeah, you can come over, you know, whatever. And it was like, okay, but then it'd be times like I'm doing homework, or like I want to watch TV or something. It was like I wasn't really talking, and he was like, what's wrong? It's like, nothing's wrong. Like, you just have to understand the fact that there's times where it's just like your company is fine, it's just I don't want to talk. And he didn't really understand that. He would just always think something's wrong, and he always blamed things on overthinking. And I overthink, but there's a difference between overthinking and being extra. Like, you're just being totally extra. Like, there's no reason to do the things that he's done, and it's just like creepy. Like, the world that we live in, I don't want someone to do the things that he's done, because I don't feel safe. Or like, if I don't feel safe, like, I do go into defensive mode. That's just how I am. It's how my best friend is, how my family is, whatever. Like, I do go into defensive mode, and I don't care if I hurt your feelings. Like, I will like take you down if I need to. So anyway, we broke up after like, so I was a sophomore, he was a junior. We broke up in like June of 2018. So yeah, like, we broke up and everything. One of the things was he wanted to go to Florida with me, and we hadn't been dating that long. He hadn't slept over or anything. We weren't like that. We weren't like, the bond wasn't like that. And he wanted to go to Florida with me, and I was like, no. And secondly, he was about to have surgery like over the summer. So while I was gone, he was actually having surgery. And I'm like, so you know the time that I was gone, you'd be in recovery. And it was like you're having surgery, I'm not about to take you with me. And that doesn't make sense at all. And like, his parents are like very protective of him and stuff. So I'm like, obviously you're not going to go to Florida with me. Also, we have to pay more money for that. Like, this trip was planned ahead of time. And it was like, he just like, it like blew up. He like didn't understand anything that I was talking about. Like, it was so irritating. Like, I hate people that, I don't really hate them, it's just irritating for people that are like, they have so much book smart. They have no common sense whatsoever, and that's so irritating for me because common sense is, okay, I'm having surgery, like I understand where she's coming from, like she doesn't want me to go because something could happen and I'd be away from my parents. A typical person would think that. But anyway, after all of that, we broke up. We broke up in like June, I believe, and then I posted on. He's like very like he's kind of obsessive. Um, I posted on my story and I was like, oh, Bay's leaving for Dallas, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was talking about my best friend, and he texted. What I don't like either is that he texts my best friend. If he can't like get a hold of me, he will contact her. And that's not, like, don't do that. Like, do not bother my best friend. Like, if it's an emergency, like, and I'm not replying back to you, then, like, if there's something wrong with me and I'm not replying back to you, then you kind of just have to wait. Because, obviously, I'm either not by my phone's dead, or, like, I can't get to my phone because something's wrong with me. And sometimes my best friend might not automatically know that because I'm not talking to anybody. But don't irritate them. Like, that's not something you do. Like, every time he couldn't get a hold of me, he would just, text her or Snapchat her, whatever the case may be. There was a day that I walked into school and I didn't have a signal, and he was texting her and was like, oh, is Shanae at school? And she's like, yeah, I think so. Like, don't do that. And then there was a time I posted on my story and it was like makeup and stuff, and he's like, oh my god, what's wrong? And like, I wasn't really on my phone. Like, I'd open messages and I just leave them on read because like I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was like kind of just doing makeup's like my thing that I do. And he was like texting her, like yelling at her and stuff like that. What's wrong with her, stuff like that. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, you don't do that whatsoever. Like, it's not right at all. So yeah. Anyway, back to that. She left over the summer, and he texted her and was like, oh, well, who's Shanae's new boyfriend? And she's like, I don't know, like, because at the time I didn't even have a boyfriend, so she's like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, well, I saw her story, and she's like, okay, and he's like, well, I don't care that she has a boyfriend, like, I have a girlfriend, but what's her boyfriend's name? What? If you don't care, then you shouldn't care about his name. Like, it doesn't matter. And like, I posted later, I was like, why do people constantly go to my friends about stuff that involves me? Like, that's ridiculous. And he was like, oh, I'm guessing she told you. No, really? But yeah, so after that, like, we didn't talk or anything, but he wanted to be friends, and I was like, whatever. But like, we didn't talk over the summer, and so my birthday party came around, my mom's like, oh, did you invite him? I'm like, okay, whatever. Invited him, it happened, he didn't come, which is kind of glad, because there were other things happening too. So I'm glad he did not come. Skip forward to like end of October-ish, like going into November and stuff. He came over one day, we like talked and whatever. It was like, okay, fine, we're friends. And like, it was chill, like everything was fine. Everything, like, we're chill, we're friends. I told him, I was like, we're friends, like, that's it, nothing else. And then like, he constantly wanted to come over, and it was like, okay, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, do you want to like go shopping for Black Friday? Because like, just go out, hang out. It was me, another girl, him, and my mom. Why did he hang out with my mom the entire time we were shopping? Are you serious? So we were walking around the mall, and he's with my mom the entire time. So he's talking to my mom, and he's trying to get answers out of her, like, about me. And I'm like, there's no reason for that. Like, if we're friends, then first of all, why are you talking to my mom? He got really close to my mom, and I never got close to his parents. But he got really close to my mom, and I did not like that. Like, he would, like, always want to talk to her and stuff. Like, I did not like that. We weren't even dating that long. And so, like, yeah, we were, like, shopping, and he tells her, he's like, oh, she's so expensive. What? No one told you to buy me anything first of all, no one told him to buy me anything. He just constantly bought gifts. And I think he felt that if he bought me more gifts, then I would want to date him again. And no, that was not, like, no, it wasn't going to happen. Like, I don't care about gifts, I don't care about money. He was like, oh, I have $100. And my mom's like, yeah, well, I have 800, so what do you say? Like, I don't care about money. And after we were shopping and everything, he came back that night and he wanted to hang out. And I was like, okay, whatever. And he brought like this perfume. And I'm like, I didn't tell you to buy it. Like, at that point, it was just like, why? He's like, oh, it's a birthday gift. It's not a birthday gift. It's just you being extra. It's you trying too hard. Like, we're never going to date again. It's not going to happen. And it was like a few days before Thanksgiving. Like, I know I said Black Friday, but like, I remember it was like a few days before Thanksgiving, and we were hanging out, and his friend like FaceTimed him, and he's like, oh, you guys should date. And I'm like, no. Like, it's not happening again. And then after all of that, there was one night he like Snapchatted me and like the video calling on Snapchat. And I was like doing my homework, and he's like, oh, well, my friend has a question for you. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I hated the fact that he couldn't come to me himself and ask me questions. It was his friends that wanted to ask me the questions because he couldn't do it himself. Like, if you can't communicate with me, then don't talk to me at all. Like, don't. Like, so they called me, and I'm like, what? And they're like messing around and stuff. They're like, oh, well, what am I supposed to ask her? You know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, could you hurry up? Because I was in the middle of doing homework, and I wanted to go to bed. Like, I was tired. I didn't feel good. And they're like, oh, well, what's going on between you two? Because, you know, you guys have been on dates and stuff. And I'm like, since when? Since when? Because the last time I checked, we have not been on dates, like, ever. Like, we have never been on a date. I think, okay, we'll consider one time a date, and we went to IHOP. But, like, recently, we have never been on it. We haven't been on a date at all. And so I'm like, what are you, in my head, I'm just like, what are you telling your friends? Because we haven't been on a date. So what are you telling your friends? And that irritated me, and so I was like, you know, that has nothing to do with you. Like, we haven't even talked about it, so, like it has nothing to do with you, so I'm gonna hang up. And I hung up. And then he's like, oh, we should talk about it in person. And I'm like, okay. He never did. Like, he's always like, we should do this. Okay, we're going to do this. We never do. I'm not going to always be the person to initiate everything. So, yeah. And then we, like, hung out a couple times after. No, not really. We didn't really hang out after that. But we... I probably should have turned the TV down. But it was just like we didn't really talk that much. And then it was around Christmas time, and he was like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, what? I'm like, do you buy your other friends presents for Christmas? He's like, some of them. I'm like, no. Like, he's literally just trying to give me presents and presents and presents. He's like, well, I'm just being nice. And I'm like, no, like, stop. And it was like the day of Christmas. He was like, when do you want me to bring your present? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, he was like, oh, well, I'm probably going to come over, you know, anyway. I'm like, for what? He's like, for fun. And mind you, he's not a sexual person. Like, he literally just comes over and, like, just watches TV. And I'm like, anyway. But he's like, oh, I'm just going to come over for fun. And I'm like, why? He's like, for fun. And I'm like, no, why? Like, why are you coming over again? Like, there's no reason for you to come over again. And I was like, why would you come over if somebody tells you no? I'm like, do you want me to slam the door in your face? He's like, well, you haven't done it yet. And I'm like, you're not getting what I'm saying. Why would you subject yourself to going to somebody's house and getting the door slammed in your face? Like, why would you do that? He's like, well, you haven't done it yet. I'm like, you're not getting what I'm saying. He's like, I am. I'm like, you're not. Because if you were, then you would understand. Like, you would be like, okay, I won't come over. And he was like, oh, well, we need to talk about it in person because, like, you know, sometimes I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, whatever. We never talked about it in person. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Oh, okay. Continue. So it was just, there's no communication there, and I'm not going to deal with that. And then so the next day, I think I went out, and I was like, I have your present, like, do you want me to drop it off? He was like, oh, I'll bring it to your house, then I'll bring yours to my house. I was like, I don't want you to come to my house. Like, I'm, like, over it. Because before all of that, there was one night where I was getting ready to leave, and I was sitting in my driveway, and, like, the car was starting and everything. I was, like, letting it warm up, and I was waiting on my mom. And this, like, car passes my, it's, like, not really past, but, like, it's going slowly past my house, and it stops, like, in front of the driveway, like, dead ass at the end of the driveway. It just stopped, and the back window's down, and there's somebody looking out the back window, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like, are you serious right now? And I know his friend lives like 4 blocks down from me, and I'm like, no one else knows where I live. Like, there's only certain people that know where I live, and I know all their cars. Like, they'll text me. They aren't gonna do something like that. They'll text me like, yo, I'm coming over, you know, blah blah blah. And like, this car stops at my driveway and then like speeds off, and I'm like, really? And so I'm like texting my best friend. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, blah blah blah. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, you're not coming back to my house. And so, because like now this is like you're getting like, this is serious. Like, you seriously have a problem, and like I'm not gonna deal with that. And so, I was like, yeah, I'll just bring the present to your house. And he like kind of got mad because I didn't want him to come back to my house. Like, I didn't tell him I didn't want him to come back to my house. I was just like, I'll drop the present off at your house. Because he was like, oh, I'll bring it tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm probably not gonna be home tomorrow, which I was, but I didn't want him to come over. And so, and the next day I actually wasn't home. So I told him I wasn't going to be home. And so I went the night that I was hanging out with my best friend. And the same night that I was hanging out with her, she told me, she was like all this stuff came up. And she told me, she was like, yeah, he texted me one day that he was over your house. And texted me and asked, why am I always over, you know, your house? Meaning he texted her and asked her, why is she always over my house? That is my best friend. Like, she's like my sister. You don't have that place to ask her why she's always over my house. Okay, you don't know what's going on in either one of our lives. Like, she could just be here to be over here for fun. She could be staying here. Like, you don't know what's going on. Like, we have a bond that me and you will never have. And like, everything just clicked. It was like, he's trying to be like her. Like, if we're gonna be friends, he's trying to like kind of take her place or like act like her. And since she's always over here, he wants to always be over here, and that's not the case. You cannot do that. When she's over here, it's just like she just walks in, does whatever she wants. When he comes over, it's like he kind of stands there and everything's like awkward. Like, so you're never gonna, there's an imbalance. It's never gonna be balanced. And so after that, I was home maybe the next day and the day after, and my mom's backing in the driveway, and she sees his car. This time it's his car, and it like stops in front of the house, and then it drives off. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Like, you were really about to do this? And so I texted him maybe the next day or so, and I was like, this was like Friday before New Year's. The Friday before New Year's Eve. So it was Friday and New Year's Eve was on Monday. So I texted him. I was like, yo, we need to talk because like there's seriously something wrong. Like you have a problem, whatever the case may be. I was like, whenever, like, this is where it pissed me off. I was like, whenever you're not busy, we need to talk. A normal person would come back and be like, okay, I'm not busy this day. We can talk this time. You know, I'm busy, but I can call you or something. No, he's like, well, when are you not busy? That wasn't the question. You didn't even answer the question. You asked me a question because I asked you a question. I'm confused. So I was like, why can't you just answer the question? He's like, well, I want to make sure you're home. I'm like, we're not doing this at my house. Like, I don't want you to come over to my house again. Like, we're not doing this at my house. And he's like, well, I'll let you know when I'm not busy. Mind you now, earlier that week, he was steady trying to get over my house. Like, wanted to come over constantly. But as soon as I said that we needed to talk, he like ghosted. Like, he was like, okay, I'm totally busy. Like, my schedule's full. Like, I'm busy. Like, I'm busy. Like, to the point where I can't text you back for 5 days. So 5 days later, I'm like, I wake up from a nap and I see on my phone, he's like, is tomorrow fine? Oh, tomorrow? What the fuck's tomorrow? Like, I wasn't thinking about it because, like, it's 2019. You're irrelevant to me now. You're just, yeah. Yeah, you go do you. I'll do me. And so, he's like, you know, you said you wanted to talk, so, you know, is tomorrow okay? And I'm like, oh, he's not getting an attitude with me. I'm like, at this point, I don't even care. And that's what I replied back. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I mean, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care to talk anymore. I don't care to, like, I don't want to do anything with you anymore. And he's like, well, did I displease you? I'm like, displease me? No. I was like, buddy, don't even, like, I was like, I don't even, like, whatever. I was like, well, oh well, I don't even care anymore. And he was like, well, if you still want to talk, then, you know, we know where I'm at. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we haven't, like, I just kind of, like, left him on red, whatever. And then a few days ago, like, I ended streaks because I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't need, when I send streaks, a lot of times it shows where I am. Not like with the geo filter, but like a lot of people know what my house looks like. They know what my room looks like if you've been over my house, or if you have streaks with me, like a lot of people notice that I'm in the same place. So like, obviously that's my room. Or like if I'm in the city, like it'll show. I was like, I don't want to be around a person that doesn't make me feel safe. And I was like, we need to get cameras for the house because this is ridiculous. His friend lives like down like 4 blocks from me, and he knows where I live. This other kid knows where I live. He can just come over here anytime. Um, like he like kind of knows the makeup of my house. Um, like I don't like that. And there was one time he was like, "Oh, can I come over?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm busy because I'm going to have to do something later." I was like going to dinner. I said I'm going to dinner because I didn't want him to come over. And I was like, "Oh, he's like, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going." Like I was just like conversation. I was like, "We're going to the Cheesecake Factory, whatever." And then later on that night, he's like, "Did you go to dinner yet?" I was like, "No, why?" And he was like, "Oh, because, I was kind of in the area of the Cheesecake Factory. I was wondering." And I was like, "Are you serious? Like, you were going to Dave and Buster's. There's no fucking Cheesecake Factory near Dave and Buster's. What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, I'm in the city anyway." He was like, "Oh, okay, I wouldn't have popped up or anything, don't worry." What? Like, if you pop up, you're gonna get popped up. Like, bro, no. That stalking shit is not for me. Like, considering the world that we live in, there's too many kids getting taken. Like, especially, like, girls. Like, there's a girl, she went to going to her bus stop. She got taken. If I get taken because I'm walking from my back door to my garage, I'm coming, like, everybody's gonna come after you. I'm telling you right now, everybody's coming after you. It's gonna be you, it's gonna be all your friends. Like, all of y'all are getting interrogated because nobody has time for that. Like, I've talked to people and they're like, "Are you serious? Like, he did that?" And I'm like, he doesn't realize that I don't play with stuff like that. And he's always the one that's like, he jokes around a lot, and I can't do that. Like, I can't joke around a lot. I can't be like, "Yeah, I know, I might die later." I might say that, actually. But when it comes to serious stuff, he doesn't know how to talk about it, and that really annoys me. So, by the way, he also said that he likes annoying me, so definitely have to cut him off. He's back in 2018. I don't have time for that. Anyways, I have to deal with him during volleyball season. I'm not a 2-year-old. I can be in the same room as him. It's just I don't want to hang out with him because, first of all, he's gonna he's gonna try and be intimate, and I don't want that. I don't want him over my house. I don't want to hang out with him. If I have to if I have to manage and he's there, okay, like that's a given. Like I'm not gonna stop doing what I do because because of him. Like I'm never gonna do that. So yeah, but basically that was my first relationship. So if you guys want to date me, just know you need to communicate. And I'm that type of person that, well, this chair is really working. Like communication is key. Like there'll be moments where it's just like my conversation might be dry, but also you have to think about when I'm in school, I do not always have a signal. Also, do not text any of my friends, especially my best friend. A lot of people don't know if they're my friends or not. They think they're my friends and they're not. So, and if you want to be my friend, at least say hi to me in the hallway. Like, you can't be my friend and not say hi to me in the hallway, but you want to text me and you want to come over to my house. Like, that's weird. Like, he sees me in the hallway like 25-8 and he won't say hi. Like, he'll just jump on his phone. Like, okay, if that's how it's gonna be, okay, you're really not my friend then, because you think I'm playing. But yeah, anyway, that was like kind of my little spiel, the whole relationship, kind of like a little timeline, because a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean it's your worst relationship? I'm pretty sure there's worse ones out there. It's just, that's mine right now, and I'm not going to deal with somebody who can't communicate with me, who stalks me, who constantly is going after my best friend if they can't talk to me. So yeah, that's kind of my little spiel. I'm gonna film like 3 more videos because I need to be ready during volleyball season. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next time. I'm going to go film like 3 other videos for you guys. So like and subscribe down below. Everything will be below. Leave comments of what other videos you guys want to see. So hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day or night wherever you are, and stay warm, especially if you're in Chicago right now. Bye!